The path from survival to significance isn't easy, but it also isn't a mystery. The freedom, fulfillment, and financial outcomes you hoped for from your real estate career are within reach. You just have to follow the path that leads you there. Okay. We had a Golden Circle Lab last week, and it was pretty fun. Finally getting a chance to dig into this final stage of money, success to significance, that we call Create Freedom and Wealth. And so, I don't know, before we get started, I wanted to just ask you, like, what were your initial insights, takeaways from the day getting to cover this content with our Golden Circle?
And we've been working on this one for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I was listening to one of our old podcasts. I was like, oh, we covered the second one a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 2 years ago that we really relaunched discussing survival to significance with the money global overview at the round table. So, yeah, well, I mean, first of all, glad to have it put together.
Same.
The steps from transition 1, 2, and 3 have been packaged for some time, but breaking them out into the module, I know you guys put a lot of work into that.
Yep.
And so it's great to have that, not because it's done, but because now the path, I think, is better laid out.
Yeah.
And we can spend more time digging into it and having fun with it. Insights. It's always interesting to me how the emperor has no clothes.
Absolutely.
I think I told that story when we first started talking about money. We're in a room full of pretty accomplished people, and I find this outside of our walls, anywhere. There's certain parts of life that we all are pretending. And it's money, like I said, I mean, a lot of people would rather talk about sex than talk about money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a big, intimate conversation, and you have to be a little vulnerable. And so, yeah, my first insight was how many of our top agents really still have a lot of work to do in the first two transitions, from survival to stability and then to success.
Yes, absolutely.
I think also that that's totally fine. Like, there's no reason to think that that's problematic. I don't think that there's an arriving on this.
That's what I was just going to say. There is no arrival.
I mean, I suppose
it's always work to be done.
$1 billion, maybe you've arrived. But anything short of that, I think you're still working on it. And I think it's okay to be ahead on some areas and a little further behind on others.
Yeah.
Had a meeting with someone yesterday that's got a really large real estate portfolio that's 80% paid off.
Wow.
But there's work that they haven't done on their stock portfolio.
Yeah.
And so, I think we're just all at different phases. Our life journeys have put us in different situations. And maybe back to like chapter 1, which is the first step, is you just got to be honest. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and take audit of what you do and don't have.
Yeah.
And then start doing the work one thing at a time to move forward. So I think it's really great to have the new 6 steps of the third transition in people's hands. And I love the altitude of the conversation.
Agreed. I was really impressed with the conversations that started to happen in that room as far as insights from each other and, hey, this is what's working for me. I just really thought it did bring to light some really cool things that people know, things that people don't know, and just really starting to ask questions about it. I think
which is a big ask, right? Hey, everyone, share with each other your financial information. But yes, it was a fun conversation. So
yeah, I'm excited to, like you said, I think I want to say introduce this material, but I feel like you have been having these conversations for a really long time. It's the first time that it's really been clearly packaged. So that's what's fun for me, is just having this clarity of the end in mind of this journey. So it's really fun. So I think we're endeavoring to kind of cover these 6, but not go in depth on these. But these 6 steps really are pretty cool. So I want to go through all of them. I'm going to just say all of them first, and then we'll kind of start digging in. So first, pay yourself salary and dividends. 2, grow your business reserves. 3, invest in real estate. 4, build your retirement portfolio. 5, insure your wealth and assets. 6, make an impact. This stage is called Create Freedom and Wealth. So just talking about freedom and wealth as we get into these 6, what does freedom and wealth mean to you, I guess, first?
Well, if you don't mind, I don't want to waste a lot of time.
No, it's good.
But I think it's worth setting the stage.
A little bit more behind.
We've been at on money.
Yeah.
phase one is build a
Build a
business,
business.
right? Which helped me out. Like fundamentally, that's about separating your finances and
Ensuring doing a revenue stream first. Like you have to have leads.
if there's not a top line revenue, you'll never get the bottom line, right? So get lots of leads, make your business work. That's the big focus, and then start to separate the money because business people, that's how money flows. Chapter 2 was about really starting to grow the bottom line, and that's about managing expenses. And the only way to do that is to start having a profit and loss statement.
Yes, business books, right? Like it's really about that.
And then starting to structure the thing correctly. That's getting incorporated so that you can have proper tax flow and tax mitigation. And so now we're starting to think like a business owner in the first. We're starting to structure the business correctly in the second. And the third is, okay, we've got this machine, this business, and the goal for pretty much any real estate agent, but also any business owner, probably wasn't to build a business. It was that the business was a vehicle. And we all got into this because what we really wanted was freedom. And we went through that fun exercise of we wanted freedom from certain things and freedom to, and I'm looking forward to getting into that more.
Conversation,
but freedom was what we were really looking for. And that looks different for everybody, but it always comes back to that. That's why entrepreneurs do what they're doing. And wealth is also not necessarily what we were looking for, but it's also a means to an end. At the end of the day, what people are looking to do is live meaningful lives and make a difference in their family tree or in the world around them, or and even freedom as a function of wealth. And so, I love the name. Ultimately, from success means I've got a business that works. Significance means that my business creates freedom for me. Significance means that my business has wealth, which is not the capacity to buy nice cars or have flashy things. It's not about how much money you're making. It's that you've got a series of assets, a set of assets or resources that create freedom for you. And a lot of people can get to success in real estate.
But this is something else.
Because it's a slightly different game.
And
we talked about that a little bit, the wealth building game, where, the first step in wealth building, I won't get into the whole thing, is to get your house in order. Because if you don't have your home budget and your home expenses, and if the goalposts just keep moving, you're never going to build wealth. Because the more you make, you'll just get a bigger car and a bigger house. But the second step in wealth building, my brain just went fuzzy, is to... That's so
build
funny.
a revenue machine. Yes,
it's the Goose.
The Goose.
And so this, once my house is in order, I'm building a business that lays golden eggs. And the rest of the steps are about how I carefully place those eggs, invest those eggs to create a long-term passive revenue stream. But everything that we focused on so far is about the Goose.
Absolutely.
The systems team, and most of money has been about how to get a Goose that's well cared for, lays golden eggs. And then, as you all know the story, we want to take care of that Goose.
Yes, we do.
But building wealth and freedom is about now how we take the golden eggs and figure out how to invest them and allocate them so that we create increasing amounts of freedom for ourselves as a function of a beautiful business.
I think the interesting part of something that was revealed in that room to me, that I think people do have different definitions or opinions or true at their core thoughts about the word wealth. And so that was kind of an interesting,
some positive, some negative.
Positive, some negative. That was interesting to me. I think when you get into this, you're not necessarily thinking about that being the long game, but this was really cool to talk about it in a way that's this is about the freedom to get to do something that you wanted to go do. So it's interesting.
There's so many things I have to say about that. I read that little quote. If you secretly despise wealth, it'll always elude you. A lot of us have stories and tapes in our brain that the only way to get rich is to take advantage of people or be a jackass. But the truth is the money's out there, and whoever has it has the capacity to choose what gets done with it. And I know that I'm who I am, whether I'm poor or wealthy. But if I have more assets and resources, I know I'm empowered and leveraged to be able to do more of the things that I want to do. And what I want to do is help people and build people and make an impact in the world. So I think some of us have to work on our tapes. But what I love is the beginning of this conversation and opening the discussion, putting on the table. Why are we in this business? ultimately it's a little bit of like beginning with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
It is for degrees of freedom and various flavors of freedom.
Yeah.
And building wealth out of this machine is should be a admirable
Yes.
and worthy goal for most of us to be achieving, and that's not something we have to apologize for.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. So digging just kind of a flyover of these 6, right? So the first one, pay yourself salary and dividends. This was very eye-opening, and I think this has created really fun discussion in the room. This idea of we are now an employee of our business, and we pay ourselves a salary, but you also can't forget that you're a business owner who can then pay yourself dividends too. So why start here? And it was an interesting kind of conversation in the room.
Well, in the stability to success chapter, we're saying that you start paying yourself a salary.
Yes.
But really what that means for most real estate agents is you just pick a certain amount of money that gets siphoned out of the business every month so that there's some degree of stable revenue coming into your household. But mostly what that tends to be is just a bunch of either 1099 income or sometimes some W-2, but it's hodgepodge.
Yeah.
That's not what a business does.
Exactly.
At some point, what a business does is it has employees. There might be one and there might be 50.
Employee. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. But what employees get is a fair compensation for their work. And as we build our business and it gains more and more revenue, there is a chapter at which we have to balance a couple of things. One of them is we want consistent revenue. The other thing is we don't want to pay too much in taxes.
Yeah.
So 1099 revenue is great, because we get to pay ourselves dividends or draws as a business owner, and we don't get taxed on that for the FICA taxes. We don't have to pay unemployment taxes and insurance and stuff like that. And so that's about a 15.2% additional taxation impact when we pay ourselves W-2. So one, we want to pay ourselves just as much as draws as possible. But the IRS says, wait, this is a business. You don't get to do that. The employees must earn salaries before you can just pull all the money out as profit without paying employee taxes.
Yeah, and the key word there was reasonable, right? Like digging into that part of what is a reasonable salary.
So the game is we must pay ourselves a reasonable W-2 salary, which sucks on the tax side, but it's good on the stability side.
Yes.
And then we need to pull out draws. And the problem with this topic is that there's a million ways to do this.
Yes.
What reasonable is different for different businesses and different real estate agents because they're earning different amounts.
Yes.
And somewhere in there's this rule of thumb of a 50-50 ratio between these two. That's not a rule. It's just a suggestion.
Please talk to your CPA.
So like, how do you stay out of jail? How do you minimize taxes? The answer is there's a million ways to do it. There's some ways to get in trouble. There's some ways not to. But it is the first step, is that a business rightly ought to be paying its employees, and you as the CEO, CFO,
are an employee.
And the operator are an employee. Pay yourself a salary that keeps you out of IRS jail, and then the remainder of the money can come as draws. And it doesn't mean that you have to be unstable. So your W-2 can be fixed, and if you're smart, so can your draws.
Yeah.
So the way I pay myself in our company is I have a W-2 salary. I'm underpaid for what I do, and the remainder of what I draw on a monthly basis is a fixed amount. So I get some of it in W-2, some of it in 1099. And what I do for this company is really no different than how most realtors can pay themselves out of theirs.
Yeah, that was just really eye-opening, I guess, for me. I mean, just the two aspects of that and why to work on that. 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to kind of put together a little bit, because to me, growing your reserves, investing in real estate, and building your retirement portfolio are about really 2 main things. One, becoming a little bit more bulletproof, and then also really starting to really build that wealth, right? So on business reserves, invest in real estate, build your retirement portfolio. There's so many things here. What is that all about?
Man,
there's just so much that we can.
It opens up so many things, because part of a great investment strategy is about time value of money, long-term consistency, not trying to time the market, but constantly injecting in, and then not having to make rash or bad decisions in bad times.
Yes.
So step 1 on building reserves is all about ensuring that, 1, your goose is safe.
Yes.
You must create a context where your business doesn't suffer in up and down markets.
Right.
Also, if you have reserves, your goose is in a position to take advantage of down markets or opportunities. So, I think there was a lot of insight in the room about reserves. I don't think a lot of people have thought this through. I shared that as a company, what we do is have at least 1 month of operating reserves. I think the suggestion was 1 to 3.
Yep.
But then we keep another 1.5 or 2 months in what we call
in for reinvest.
well, we don't call it reinvest. We call it our core capital account.
Oh,
so
yeah.
our operating account always has at
Yeah.
least 1 to 2 months of operating expenses monthly.
Yep.
And then we have another 1 to 3 months of core capital, which would be the reserve account. And I think that agents should think that way as well, given that they don't have significant overhead.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about a real estate business is other than the employees, it doesn't have massive overhead.
Yeah.
But reserves are not just about having a savings account. Reserves are about ensuring that the goose is safe.
Yep.
And reserves are about having the opportunity to take advantage of good situations. Sometimes when the market's down, that's actually a wonderful thing. We got into investing in real estate.
Yeah. This was a really fun conversation in the room, I think.
Well, because this is what we do.
Yeah.
I loved sharing that new resource that we have. I know you and I
Can't
are
wait
going
to
to
dig
be
into it.
coaching this at a Reconnect
Yes, we are.
soon. But I think the game here is that even though we are in the real estate business, I think we're much, much, much better at helping people buy and sell
Than we are.
than we are at understanding real estate investments.
Yeah.
And I think running through those 6 reasons why real estate, from an appreciating asset that you get to depreciate, that you get to write off the mortgage payments, that you have the principal down payment being handled by somebody else's money, that you can transfer tax-free the asset when you want to liquidate it, and you can leverage against, meaning you can take a line of credit against your assets and buy other things. Real estate is unbelievably powerful,
Yeah.
but I think we failed to understand the power of real estate in the long term.
Yes.
Because we think of it in the short term as, does it cash flow?
Yes.
And cash flow is one
piece
of the pieces.
Yeah.
And it's really more about the compounding impact of real estate. So that tool was amazing and fun to share. I love how many of our agents are buying real estate.
Yes.
I think we can help our agents understand why they should be doing it more. And I got nothing to gain by this.
No, absolutely not. But
I buy real estate.
Yes, you're so right though we do real estate every day, but we don't maybe understand. Again, I think we'll dig in like the long-term financial wealth building game that you're playing with real estate and how you can look at it a long-term approach. Build your retirement portfolio. We have some great resources on this. It's just really about understanding that you're a business owner and no one's paying for your own retirement. So you've got to start making a plan. And I love the thought here too, that it's not necessarily about retirement, right? Like, so people like think of that, well, I'm never going to retire or whatever that may be, but it is about having whatever you need, right? Then moving forward, whatever that retirement looks like for you, not even fully stepping out.
I think there's lots of insecurity about this.
Yeah.
I think most employees in the world are lucky enough to have a 401k that
their employer
automatically
does for
goes
them.
and there's a match.
Yes.
And if it wasn't the case, I think most people would be destitute.
Yeah.
So realtors, though, they don't have that luxury. And so there's a significantly higher burden for us to figure out our own investment vehicles. And there's this giant milieu of, we all don't know what other people know. So we assume that we're the only stupid
Giant
ones.
misunderstanding, basically.
Yeah. So I'm excited to rip that Band-Aid off. The resources there were great, that sort of like options for self-employed agents. I just want to open up more conversations within our walls, and I'm having these quite a bit with agents now, where we just, I don't have all the answers, but I've spent a lot of time playing with different financial investment vehicles. Just opening up a context for us to share what people are doing, what's working for
what's
them.
not, yeah.
There are some great there's some great
Options
vehicles
out there.
and tools out there. And there's stupid things to do, and then there's safe things to do. And I just love the idea that we create an environment where our agents feel more and more confident figuring out where they're allocating the golden eggs.
Yeah.
And real estate isn't the only space. You must diversify into financial markets. And I've had tons of fun playing that game the last 8 years. I want our people to do it more and more.
I like so much that it's opening up the conversations, like you said, because a lot of times you'll just be like, we'll talk to a financial advisor. I think if you can educate yourself and learn some of this yourself, you're going to have even better conversations with your financial advisor who can help you. But then it is really about understanding, right? It really is that misunderstanding that's out there. It's about, I understand my numbers too.
I got so many things I could say that would piss off financial advisors right now. But I do think that you should have a financial advisor because you are not literate to the extent that they would be. But I think you're an idiot to just trust somebody else.
Carte blanche.
partly because I think the incentive structures in the financial advisement space are a little weird. And although they are fiduciaries, I think that there's a significant amount of incentives to simply sell. The metaphor I'm using is if you're a fiduciary in an open house as an agent, there's significantly more commission available for you to sell the house that you're holding open than there is to show all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an incentive structure that I struggle with a little bit. And so I think everyone should have a professional they speak with, but I do think you're right when we should increase our own acumen on this. And it's not that hard, guys. It's not that hard. Like, there's a little bit of research and you can create safe spaces where you can just have a robo account that invests in ETFs for you. That's just incremental amounts that you can watch and learn in time. And that's all I've done over the last 10 years. And my acumen's a very different spot today. And I feel like I know what I'm doing and I'm having fun doing it. I have play money that I get to gamble with. And I have super safe, steady, secure money that I get to watch grow and compound over time and I never touch. And all of it's within reach. You just have to decide that it's time to take control and not just lean on somebody else and assume that the world will solve this for you or your advisor will solve this for you. You are the captain of your ship and you have to decide you want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about just like structuring the money correctly, right? So that's kind of what the first couple things are about. We've talked about how we can grow that wealth through real estate and your retirement portfolio, lots of options there. And this next one really is about you're making more, your goose is going, you're building some wealth and things like that. There's just a whole subset of things that you need to ensure. You're more exposed as a person who continues to gain more wealth. So you have to insure your wealth and your assets.
I think what we're saying here is like, there's a chapter of the wealth building game that starts with building a revenue making machine.
Yes.
And that's your real estate business for you guys. And then there's a next chapter is about converting the free cash that comes from you, the eggs, converting that into assets. But as you build your asset base, and for some of you that are early on in your career, you're like, I'm just paying off student debt. It's like, okay, this is all just noise.
Yeah.
But trust me, if you sell real estate, if you take care of people, if you manage the business well, it will grow. The revenue will grow. The bottom line will grow. This is what's happened to most of our people. When that happens and you convert it to assets, the assets will accumulate and they will start to compound. Time is a powerful force. When that happens, some of the burden shifts from generating revenue to ensuring that the assets are well managed, protected. The first asset is you. You got to protect you because you've got to.
You're the moneymaker.
100%. The next is like your business. And so you got to insure the revenue stream. But then we got to start figuring out, how do we insure? And insurance doesn't just mean like I get property insurance on my real estate assets. It means that you've structured things in a way that you've figured out like how you're covered, your liability is covered, your assets are covered. You've figured out continuity of this. Estate planning, your will is basic starting points for that. But then like, we even got into a little bit of business succession planning. Yeah. Each of these you could spend 6 hours on. We've got a great set of resources for you to look at. And again, my advice on this is like, don't try and eat the elephant. Just take a bite.
One at a time. Yeah. And again, I feel like this whole list, when you look at it, that is another space where Americans don't like to talk about having a will. But like, honestly, this is about taking care of your people and what your plan is after that. So, I mean,
the other thing is essential. How much peace there is on the other side of getting some of your ducks in a row.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay, this last one really is, for me, like this, when I first heard this word significant, I guess I feel like I first think about this part, like real estate is an amazing vehicle to do something else, to do something more. So this last one is all about, we just call it make an impact. So make an impact is kind of the end in mind, I feel like.
Well, and there's so many ways you can think about this. I mean, for some of us, make an impact. It can start with just within your team and the people you're serving. But that can move to the capacity to change your family tree and build something, a legacy for your family that is different than the one that was handed to you.
Yeah.
But then also, I use Orphans of Tesso as the metaphor, right? Mm-hmm. I love the insight that we had about really our business. We've always talked about in, on, and out. You go to work in your business, and the insight there is that's all about our sales, our service, our marketing. It's about our 3 pillars that we engage in inside of our systems of our business.
Yeah.
And our on is all about our 3 hats, our CEO, our COO, our CFO. But out, I think that the idea of working out of your business, it's a bit of a pie in the sky.
Right. People have a hard time seeing that.
It doesn't seem real. Like, what does that mean? I build such a big real estate business that I sell it for millions of dollars, and now I just sit and drink Mai Tais. But I think that that's not what out is. I think that out is that you create, it's the freedom and wealth. It's that I create something that I love the work that I do. I don't need to sell it necessarily, but I'm making an impact in my clients. I'm making an impact in and through my team. As a function of that, I get to have a wonderful life with my family and the people I love. Also, I've bought back more and more of my time because I've built this thing better. And frankly, I don't have to work as many hours every year. I know that sounds crazy to some of you, but a lot of our agents are not working.
Yeah, they're getting there. Absolutely.
Weeks, and they've got assets that are providing freedom for them, and they got there because of real estate. And what that allows them to do is buy back some of that time for what we called pleasure, passion, and purpose. So some of that is just to go do the things you want to do.
The things that you love, the things that you're passionate
100%.
about.
100%. You get to take some more vacations one day if you do this right. You get to sip the Mai Tais. But passion is you get to allocate that time, energy, your skills that you've developed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also for your financial resources towards things that really matter to you in the world. You get to go pursue passion. Sometimes that's opening a different business, or going and gaining a new skill, and then purpose. That at the end of the day, if you build something that works for you and you get to buy some of your time and resources out of it, you get to go decide where you want to make an impact in the world. For us, that's been Orphans of Tessa for 15 years now. For many of you, you've done other beautiful things. We don't get to prescribe what that is. What I love that we built is a little bit of an exercise to help you think through what that might be for you. And I think that's a good place to start and end.
Yeah.
Because the end is go make an impact. I'd like to think that increasingly that we can make that the beginning.
Yeah. You're doing it all along the way. Or
why are we doing this?
Why in the world? Yes.
What's it all for?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we need to work, and no, we don't want to have a jerk boss. and we think we can do better than just a salary or whatever it might be. But if that's all that's driving you, that's a freedom from. But I think there's some beautiful freedom twos where there's things that you love, that you're passionate about, that you want to do, that you want to see the world be a different place. And that's the beginning and the end, because at the beginning, as a function of that passion and desire, building a real estate business, the hard work that it takes to take care of people, build something meaningful, create more and more freedom for yourself, build some wealth and resources that empower you as a vehicle to go make an impact in the world. It's a beautiful set of bookends.
Yeah.
And I think
really is.
lot of success starts with having a why and a reason and a purpose. And man, I just love not just that this is ethereal content to 6 steps to. Our agents have been doing this.
Yes, they really have.
We're seeing this journey play out, and we're seeing the freedom that people are getting. And so it's not a perfect roadmap. It doesn't cover, it's messy. It's all over the place along the way. There's ups and downs, but this is doable and is being done. And if you don't believe that, then work on your belief sets, because someone other than you is currently doing this.
Yeah, I like you said, I'm so excited that this is quote unquote complete, right? And that we get to spend even more time kind of digging into this. I guess what are you most looking forward to as far as things that we get to continue looking into in this money space?
Well, I just love the one-on-one conversations about this. I get that we're all insecure. I get the emperor's naked. We all see it. We all know it. But I think if you're willing to, we're all excited to partner in a journey of building better businesses, but as vehicles to go and make an impact. So yeah, if a conversation about this is something you'd like, I'd love to have it. I know you're open to those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think join us for Reconnect in a couple months as we dig into the investment calculator that we're going to dig into. But honestly, super excited. This is all accessible in the Forge. There's some amazing resources we didn't even touch on yet in here. Go check it out. Let us know how we can help, and we'll continue the conversation.
Thanks for your effort on this.
Yeah.